Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to look at this theorem here. Actually, the formula, so to speak. We are going to prove this formula. All right, so I'm going to take you through that one step at a time. All right, now this is how it starts. So I want to give you an idea how it's going to work. Let's say somebody asks you, he asks you and says, I want you to take the sum. That S means sum. The sum of the first natural 100 terms. So you're going to write S subscript 100 because there are 100 terms, but natural numbers. So that means you're taking 1 and then you plus it with the 2. Then you plus it with the 3. And then plus the 4. All right. So it's going to go on and on like that. Then you're going to go plus, of course, you're going to have plus 98. And then plus 99. And then plus, let's make it 100. Can you see that? So you need to add all these numbers, all of them together. Now, the way to do that, simple way, is to reverse that equation. All right, so you're going to write the same thing, but in a reversed form. So now at the bottom, I'm going to write S subscript 100 with a turquoise color. Then equals to. All right. So this means I have, if I'm writing backwards, I'm going to start off with 100. 100 will be beneath or under that 1. So that means I'm going to put 100 there. Then plus, the next number is 99, but 99 will be under 2. So it will be 99. Then plus the next number, because we're going back and reverse, the 98 will be beneath the 3. So it will be 98 and then plus, and then I'm just gonna do those 3 dots or ellipses. Now, because we're going backwards, so that means you can actually see 98 maps with the 3. So that means we're gonna come here, we're gonna have 3, 2, 1, because right at the end, you're gonna end up with 1. All right, so that means we're gonna have a 3 here, and then plus, and then the 2, and then plus, and then the 1. That's the first thing we're going to do. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, we need to add these 2 equations. So in other words, it's equation 1 plus equation 2. So if you add this, pretend there were x. X plus x is 2x. So S subscript 100 plus S subscript 100, it's 2 of those. So you're going to have to write that as 2 times S subscript 100 equals 2. Now I want you to look at the first one. When you add this together, 1 plus 100, you get 101. 101. Then plus, you want to take the next one. When you add this together, it's also 101. All right, so let's go jot it down. So you've got 101. Then plus, when you add in the next one, when you add 3 and 98, it's also 101. So you can see that's 101, and then plus 1, 2, 3 dots or ellipses. And then again, we've been here before. If you add this together, okay, which is basically this, you're getting 101 again. That's the idea. So 101. And then plus, trust me, the next one must be 101. And then plus, and then the last one, it's also going to be 101. There we go. Now, what I'm putting in the red box, you can see it's the same number. It's 101, 101, 101, 101. But how many of these will there be? Remember, we were working for 100 terms. So I'm going to make you note this. So that means our n equals to 100. 100 terms. Okay, we've got 100 terms. So instead of writing all of these numbers, all of them, like 101 or 100 of them, you can simplify that by simply doing this. You can simply write 2 multiplied by s subscript 100 equals to, you've got 100 lots of 101. So just write it as 100 multiplied by 101. You see, all of that represent everything in a red box. So the next thing to solve for s subscript 100, the sum of the first natural 100 terms. So I have to divide both sides by 2, then I'll get the answer. So allow me to write that using a white color. So I'm going to write it just next to it here. I'm going to write it. So s subscript 100 equals to 100 multiplied by 101. But then I need to go divide that. Well, I can just divide it here by 100. Divide that by 2. There we go. So what's in the blue box? We just calculate it in a calculator because I've done this when I was at school. I know the answer is 50-50. So there we go. We've got 100. I'm going to divide that by 2. And then I times that by 101. There we go, 50-50. Well, you could have done this also, same example, up to, let's see, 1,000. The sum of the first 1,000 natural numbers. You could have done exactly the same thing. First, I want you to get this idea. Remember, we are still proceeding. I am not done yet. All right, let's take another example, which is very chop quick, similar to that. Let's have the sum of the, let's say, the first 4 terms. In other words, I'm making them arithmetic, okay? I'm making them, it's arithmetic terms because that's what it is. Let's start off with 1, and on 1 we added 2. You've got a 3. On the 3 added 2, you've got the 5. On the 5 you added 2, you now have a 7. So that means the number of terms that we've got is actually 4. Well, I'm taking this because these are little numbers. It's easy for you to add them up. Look, you can take 7 plus 3, that gives me 10. 5 plus 1 is 6. So the answer is 16. We know the answer is 16. So which means we can say the sum of those first 4 terms equals to 16. But let's do what we did here. So let's take the very same equation. We write it in a reversed form. If we reverse that, which is s subscript 4, and then equals 2. All right, so that means you're going to start off with 7. 7 will fall just under the 1. And then you're going to go 5 now. So it's going to be plus 5. 5 must be beneath the 3. And then plus the 3 will be beneath the 5. And then plus the 1, it's just under the 7. Can you see that? It's exactly the same thing. Here we couldn't write all of them because there were lots of terms, like 100. Yeah, it's only few. So you can actually write them all. If you don't have to. All right, so the next step, what we did, I said we add these two together. They're like x plus x, which is 2x. So in my case, it's 2 multiplied by s subscript 4. Then equals 2. When I add the first one, that will give me 8. Second one will be 8. Next one will be 8. Next one will be 8. So they are all 8, 8, 8. So meaning I'll be having 8 plus 8, and then plus 8, and then plus 8. But you see how many 8s are there? There is 4 of them. So we don't have to write them, all of them down. We just say 2 equals to S subscript 4 equals to, we've got 4 lots of 8. So we could have just written 4 multiplied by 8. That's all we should have done, which is basically this step here where I had 100 times 101. Then the next thing to solve for S subscript 4, we need to divide both sides by 2. So now we're going to end up with S subscript 4 must be given by the following: by 4 multiplied by 8, but we're going to have to divide by 2, right? So whatever is in the blue box, that's what we need to work out. Remember, we already know the answer was 16. So let's use calculator, though we can do it mentally. So it's 4 times the 8. Then we go beneath, we go divide that by 2. You see, the answer is correct. So it's 16. All I wanted you to understand is how to do this. Write the first equation, write the second one, and then you go write that in reverse. Now, once you got the gist of that, now let's do this one here, that equation here. All right, so here's how it's gonna go. Now, first, you need to do the sum to nth term. Last time we did it up to 100 or up to 4. So the first term, which is t subscript 1, it's always the letter A. We know that, all right? So you're going to put down and say, okay, I've got the first term, which is A. And then plus, remember the second term, you add the difference, which is D. Remember here, I had 1. To get the next one, it was 1 plus 2, which is 3. The next one, it was 3 plus 2 to get a 5. 5 plus 2 to get a 7. So we're doing that. So the next term must be A, but then plus the D. You see, I'm color coding so that you can separate. Then plus the next term, the third one, it must be A plus, on that one, I'm going to have to add another D. So it will be 2D. There we go. And then we can now go plus 1, 2, 3 dots, which are ellipses. Now, to remind you now, remember Tn represent, T subscript N represent the last term, all right? Which also that T subscript N also represent A plus, open the parenthesis, and minus 1 times by the D. Good. Now, if I were to write the last term using that T subscript T, so I could put the last term here, T subscript D. But what will be the penultimate term, the term just before the last? Second last year. Okay, the penultimate term. So it must be that term less by D, meaning it's supposed to be T subscript N, take away D. And then what will be a term just before the yellow one? It must be that T subscript N minus D, and then minus another D. That will be a term that goes over there. All right. So that's what I wanted to understand. So let me remove all of that. So which means I'll be having a term here, which is T subscript N minus twice D. And then plus T subscript N minus the D. Then plus T subscript N, which is the last term. Sometimes I use the letter L. I can put L there, put L there, put L there, because whether you use T subscript N or L, it doesn't matter. It's exactly the same thing. Okay, exactly the same thing, exactly the same thing. All right, so I'm gonna remove that. So remember the number of terms that we have. The number of terms that we have, I'm bringing this junk down there. So we have N, the number of terms is not 10, it's not 100, it's N. N is N in this case. So the next thing is to write this equation in a reversed manner. So it will be S subscript n. So that means when I do that, the last term, which is this one, T subscript n, will coincide with A. So it's going to be the T subscript A. That's it. T subscript n. And then plus this one, the second term will coincide with the penultimate term or second last, that term, that one there. So that means I'm going to have to put T subscript n minus the D. And then plus, I think you get the gist now. This one will coincide with the other one. So it will be T subscript n minus 2D. And of course, we'll put plus, and we've got those 3 dots or ellipses. And then you can see this one coincide with that one, the green one. So beneath here, I'll be having A plus 2D. You don't have to write all of these things. And then plus, the next one will coincide with A plus the D. But I'm writing them out so that you can see it's exactly that. Then the last one coincide with A. There we go. Like I was did before, we added this together. When we add them together, you have 2 multiplied by S subscript n equals 2. Let's add the first one. Look at this one here. Can you see that one? You have A plus, I'm going to put that in parentheses. You've got A partnering together with T subscript n. So that's the first term, that one. And then plus, let's look at the next one. The next one, this one here. Well, you can actually see that the D will cancel. You still end up with A plus T subscript n. How about the next one? If you look at the next one, you can also see that the positive 2D and the minus 2D, they zap. You end up with A T subscript n. Exactly the same thing. So everything will look exactly the same as that yellow one. So I might just repeat it a little bit more. A plus T subscript n. And then I'm just going to say plus here. I don't need to write it. Well, let me do it 3 times anyway. It's going to be A plus T subscript n. And then plus, we've got our ellipses there, or 3 dots. And then also the other 3 remaining terms will be A plus T subscript n. And then plus, open the parentheses, A plus T subscript n, close the parentheses, plus, I'm just writing all of those ones that I've got, A plus T subscript n. So there we go. All right. So what's the next move now? The next move will be whatever is in the blue box. You see? We want to know how many terms there are here. You have n number of terms. Remember how we did it here? How we did it here? And then how we also did it in this one here. There were 4. There was no need for us to write all 4. It's 4 times that same number that repeats itself. So with the same analogy, so we're going to take 2 multiplied by S subscript n equals 2. So since there are n number of terms, so that means I have to take n. N must multiply one of those terms. So it will be A plus T subscript n. There we go. Now, but what I can do now, I can divide both sides by the 2 in order to solve for S subscript n. So let's do that. So once I do that, I now have S subscript n equals to n. Did you notice I like to divide by the n? And then open the parentheses. I've got A plus T subscript n. Close the parentheses. Now, this one here is going to be the first formula. Let me show it to you. Which is actually this one here, because you know where there is T subscript n, you can put the L. So let me kind of extend it there. So this is the same as n divided by 2, open the parenthesis, a plus the L, close the parenthesis. So that gives me that. But remember, we after proving this one here. So once we've got this one, we don't have to worry because the rest is easy. I want you to see that T subscript n, that one there, the one that I put in a red box. It is actually that. It's actually that. So that means I need to replace it with a plus open parenthesis n minus 1 close parenthesis times by the d to get the final answer. So that is exactly how we're going to do it. So I'm going to write here S subscript n equals to n divided by 2. I'm going to open the brackets because now we've got that yellow A. I'm going to write it down, then plus what's coming, all of that in white, but I'm going to write it in turquoise. It will be A plus, open the parenthesis, n minus 1 times by the d, then I close the brackets. Now, what I want you to understand is this. These two together, when you add a plus a, you end up with 2a. So let's write it right along with that. So equals to n divided by 2. Then I open the brackets. Remember, a plus a there gives you 2a. And then plus, you are now left with open parenthesis and minus 1 times the d, then I close the bracket. So that's how we prove this formula. God bless you all. Thank you very much for watching.